I never imagined that trust could be shattered so completely, so abruptly, and with such devastating consequences. My wife Meera had always seemed devoted, loving, and attentive. We had built a life together over more than a decade, a home, careers, friends, and routines that many envied. I had believed in our marriage, in her loyalty, and in the life we were shaping together. But life has a way of revealing hidden truths in the harshest ways. The first hint came in the form of subtle inconsistencies: late nights at work, vague excuses for sudden trips, secretive phone calls. At first, I wanted to believe it was nothing, that these were normal stresses of a busy life, but the feeling of unease persisted, growing stronger every week. Something about the way she avoided my gaze, hid her phone, and became increasingly distant made my instincts scream that something was wrong. I decided to investigate quietly. I needed proof, undeniable evidence before confronting her. I didn't want to make false accusations. This was my life, my marriage, and my dignity on the line. I began monitoring her phone activity, tracking unusual patterns, and discreetly following her movements. It didn't take long before the truth revealed itself. One evening, I stumbled upon concrete evidence: messages, emails, and photos that proved she was cheating. The betrayal hit me like a tidal wave. I felt shock, disbelief, and raw anger all at once. The woman I had loved, trusted, and built a life with was secretly involved with another man. Every smile, every shared memory suddenly felt tainted by deception. My initial reaction was chaos. I wanted confrontation, revenge, and justice. But I knew that acting impulsively would only weaken my position. Instead, I began planning a form of revenge that was precise, deliberate, and unmistakable. I documented everything meticulously: dates, times, interactions, and proof of her ongoing infidelity. I wanted her to feel the weight of her choices, the consequences of her betrayal. Then karma intervened in unexpected ways. Before I could even implement my plan, life began delivering consequences naturally. The man she was seeing turned out to be deceptive and manipulative himself. He had his own secrets and ambitions, and once they clashed with hers, he abandoned her completely. The thrill she had pursued came crashing down, leaving her shocked, humiliated, and vulnerable. Meanwhile, my meticulously gathered evidence ensured that when I confronted Meera, she could not deny anything. I presented the proof calmly and decisively. Her face shifted from shock to panic, her carefully maintained composure breaking apart as she realized the magnitude of her exposure. All the lies, the hidden rendezvous, and the manipulation had been recorded and documented with precision. Divorce proceedings followed swiftly. I ensured that she could not manipulate finances, custody, or social connections to her advantage. Every legal step was deliberate, protecting me and demonstrating the cost of her betrayal. My revenge, though carefully planned, now required minimal effort. The exposure of her infidelity, combined with her own unraveling, was already delivering its effects. Karma struck again in subtle yet devastating ways. Friends who had once admired our marriage began to question her integrity. Her professional reputation suffered as colleagues discovered inconsistencies in her stories. The man she had cheated with abandoned her entirely, leaving her isolated and facing the social consequences of her choices. Every lie, every secret, and every act of betrayal returned to her multiplied. In the midst of this, I focused on rebuilding my life. Emotional healing, personal growth, and rediscovering my own sense of self became my mission. Betrayal had left its mark, but by confronting the truth and allowing consequences to unfold naturally, I transformed pain into empowerment, anger into clarity, and deceit into justice. Reflecting on the experience, I realized a profound truth. Revenge does not require cruelty, and justice does not always need intervention. Sometimes, simply exposing the truth, documenting reality, and allowing natural consequences to unfold is far more powerful than any action taken in rage. The dual impact of karma, the man abandoning her and her own social and professional fallout, served as a force multiplier, delivering lessons she could not avoid. By the time the dust settled, I had emerged stronger, wiser, and free of the deception that had threatened my life. Meera, on the other hand, faced the consequences of her betrayal fully: humiliation, isolation, and the realization that deceit carries its own inevitable punishment. My planned revenge became secondary to life's natural reckoning, and I realized that truth, exposure, and accountability are the most brutal forms of justice. In the end, betrayal revealed character, consequences revealed justice, and patience revealed power. I didn't just survive my wife's infidelity, I reclaimed my life, my dignity, and my sense of self. Karma had struck twice, but in allowing it to do so, I ensured that justice was complete, undeniable, and profound.